Hey, if you had an accident tomorrow, though, seriously, would you know where to bring your car? You're going to go to V&J Auto Body. V&J Auto Body has been repairing cars for 40 years. It's a small family-owned business. They are a proud sponsor of ours. They've been with us since the beginning. Folks, I can't say enough about V&J Auto Body. State-of-the-art facility. They are one of the most certified shops in Suffolk County. They have the technology, the business processes, the equipment, and most importantly, the personnel to repair your car and make sure that it's put back to pre-loss condition. For your convenience, they now have two amazing locations, one in Southampton and, of course, the original location in Lindenhurst, New York. All right, so go to VandJAutobody.com, and they can be reached at 631-226-0070. Remember, V&J Auto Body is looking out for your interests, not the interests of the insurance guys. Hey, welcome everybody to another exciting episode of the one and only Crash Course, the evolutionary crash course, right? Going from the radio to the podcast. Great stuff. Hey, if you've been following us for a while, thank you very much. I do get feedback. It's not as easy, I don't think, as the radio times where, more people were hearing me in the car and stuff like that. I don't know. They say that the podcast is the place that you have to live today, right? But I don't know. I feel like radio, I was able to get instant gratification. All right, if that's something you want to use. People could call into the show and I was able to get them on the phone and interact with them. I don't know. I thought that was a little more personal, but unfortunately, things kept getting more expensive over there. The gentleman that was running it, he got sick and passed away. And, after 2.5 years, we had to make some hard decisions, both for economic reasons and also for preservation reasons, right? I mean, people were just simply moving on from radio, although I do know for a fact that terrestrial radio, when it comes to talk shows, it's definitely where the action is and where the business is still, right? So that's why we were there for 2.5 years, and it was a great thing, and we really enjoyed our stay over there at 103.9. Like I said, I had a blast, and the folks, you folks, made it fun for me. I was excited every Thursday, I think it was Thursday afternoons, to get behind that mic and talk about the things that we speak about here and other things, that may have been of interest or may have been, in the news or in the know at the time. And then we ran, we used to run the little contest, which was cool, right? You'd get some nice swag and a nice gift card to either Dunkin' Donuts or 7-Eleven. I'd like hell to do that here, but I just don't. I don't know how we get all those moving pieces together. All right, I'll try and work it out with the good people at Barone Media Solutions. They're the ones that handle this right here for us. We've been working with them now for a good part of a year and a half. Great operation, folks. I can't say enough about them. If you need this kind of service, if you're looking to get your company, your business, more visibility, get them into the 21st century, you got to give these guys a call. Barone Media Solutions Incorporated. All right. You can speak to, they have professionals over there that'll answer the phone, or you can speak directly to the owner, Anthony. All right. Anthony's a great guy. He's a real professional. He knows this business inside out. He was running the radio board for me over there. He was the engineer over there for me. And he's just, I can't say enough about him. Super duper guy, super, super smart, on the cutting edge of all the latest technology, all the media stuff that you need to know about. And I feel very strongly, if you're a business, you definitely need to be using some aspect of that today, right? And it doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg, all right? That's a big lie, okay? These guys are more than reasonable, and they'll get a budget that'll fit what you need, and they'll help you get more visibility and get your business where you want it to be, all right? So that's Barone Media Solutions Incorporated. Look them up, give them a call, and let them help you to a better outcome, all right? Speaking of outcomes, we're going to touch on a couple things here today that, really grind my gears. A lot of shit grinds my gears today over here with the insurance and the collision industry. And folks, I got to tell you, it's not getting any better out there either. Okay. It really isn't. It just keeps getting worse. And, everybody loves to talk about technology, right? Constantly, right? I don't know what it is. Technology. Oh, it's so cool. It's so cool. Yeah. Got all these newfangled things, right? The phone was the big thing. Now the phone's like ancient history. And in my particular business, okay, in the insurance and the collision industry, technology is just eviscerating both sides of that equation. Okay, the insurance and the and the collision side. And what I mean by eviscerating, it's helping to precipitate the extinction of jobs. Okay, good paying jobs. Right. These are people who are highly trained, in most cases, highly educated, and they provide a unique and necessary service for the folks. Right. You guys, you and me, right? You get in an accident, and one of those folks comes out. They are licensed by the state, okay, to negotiate on your behalf. And this is something that gets lost in translation too. All right, and I try and bring this home a lot during the week when I'm interacting with these insurance people, because they've all been brainwashed into thinking that, oh, I'm here and I'm representing, Geico or say, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're not representing any of that. Okay. And that's the dirty little secret. And, and for me, right, the guy that, I don't want to say knows it all, but I mean, I've been around a long time in this industry, took many classes and insurance sponsored seminars on Regulation 64. You've heard me talk about that many times here. This is New York, folks. If you're listening to us from other areas, great, terrific. I'm sure you can learn quite a bit here, but just bear in mind that I do concentrate on New York State when it comes to things of insurance law and regulation. We're not as well versed in other states, so I don't want to, come off as somebody that has any, unique information there. But when it comes to New York, I am unique. Okay, I've been working in this lovely business for almost 40 years now. All right, so when they come in. And again, if you're listening to me and you're somewhere else, listen up, because this is important. This applies across the board. Okay, this is fiduciary, and this is also ethical. Okay, and contractual. All right, your insurance adjuster, he or she, is there to represent you. See, the insurance company made a promise to you. Right, all this gets lost today. Nobody gives a shit. Right, you pay your premium. Hey, here you go. Here's $5,000, $3,000. Nobody gives a shit, and then all of a sudden, bam. You got an accident. Now everything becomes, right away. Right? Where am I going to get my car fixed? How do I file the claim? So, and most people, like I said, it just gets lost in translation because you don't know, which is ironic because there's a lot of information out there, right? The information highway, the internet, Google this, Google that, talking to your phone. Hey, how you doing? I'm an idiot. What do I have to do? And then some motorized or computerized or AI thing or whatever the hell, pick something, talks back to you and gives you the answer, which I have to say, folks, it's not that smart, okay? My boss in particular likes to lean on this chat GPT crap, whatever the hell that is. I can't figure out what that is either. Anyway, and, and it spits out a whole laundry list of shit, and I go right through it right away, paraphrase everything, and I got to tell you, a lot of the times it's not accurate. I tell them it's not accurate. I'm not saying it doesn't bring you into where you need to be, but the information is not always accurate, folks. All right. I don't know where it's getting it from. I really don't give a shit. I know where I get it from, the regulation. I have a copy of it right on my desk. Okay. And I've studied it for a decade, so I know it inside out. But at any rate, I digress. So getting back to the insurance adjuster, okay? These guys come in, these folks come in, they're representing you. They're not representing the insurance company. Insurance company makes a promise to you. When you turn around and say, hey, here you go, State Farm, here's $3,000. Oh, great, terrific, we love you. If you wreck your car, we got you, right? Bullshit, okay? I call bullshit on that all the time. But anyway, in theory, they're gonna come down, they're gonna take care of you, they're gonna make you whole. And they send one of their good folks out to you. And that person comes in, right? Girl, he, she, whatever it is, comes in and is going to negotiate. And all the time they want to tell me, I'm here for State Farm. I'm here for... No, you're not. You're not. They're not there for them. They're there for you. You're a party to the contract. The contract says, hey, man, you wrap your car up. Don't worry. We got you back. We're going to send our best people out there. They're going to negotiate on your behalf to get an agreed price to get your car back to where you have to be. But you know what? Today... they try and convince me otherwise, that they look, I work for State Farm. Yes, correct. You work for State Farm. You work for Allstate. You work for Progressive. No problem. They write that. That's what's on the paycheck. However, ethically, you are representing the interest of the insured, which is you and I, right? That's what the contract says. All right, it's like an adhesion contract. You and I don't have a lot of ability to interact with what the parameters are in there, but for the most part, we all agree that's at the least that's what it is, right? You get your car wrecked, they're gonna give you a check, and you're gonna get it fixed. And that neutral party, the adjuster, okay, is there to represent your interests, not the insurance company. I can't say this enough. That's bullshit. They're representing you. Go ahead. Listen, everybody loves to Google everything. Google it. Google New York State Reg 64 and Google New York State adjuster licenses and see what it says. All right, don't take my word for it. We give you things here. You know the mantra, right? Here it comes. Come on. You know the mantra. If you've been following me, we give you information and knowledge that you need and can use, and advice you can trust. All right, and it's not, it's not hyperbole. It's not bullshit. Okay, I'll tell you straight up. All right, what's going on? What you need to know. All right, and you can go figure it out for yourself. Go, don't take it from me. Go double check it. So go do the Google thing. Go do the AI thing or the Chat GPT, whatever the hell people are going to use out there, and you'll see that the way it's set up, the process. Okay, and it's a process. So the way the process is set up is that this individual is neutral, comes in, and he's there for you and me. Right? I wrap my car up. Progressive sends their guy out there. Their guy comes in. How you doing, man? Come on, we're going to look at the car. We're going to go over the car. We're going to negotiate the damages. We're going to reach an agreed price so that Joe Blow insured can get his car back. And the reason why it was set up like that is because from an ethical standpoint, that individual, that adjuster, he or she, all right, is expected by the state of New York within the definition of his or her license, okay, to be ethical, all right, and represent the interests of the contractual, which is the policyholder, all right, not the insurance company. All right, so what that means, folks, all right, listen up. I don't have Squeaky with me here. Hello. What that means is that when he or she is negotiating on your behalf, they need to understand all the time that they're there to look out for your best interest, not the interest of the insurance company, but that's not the way it goes anymore. Okay. And I started this conversation by saying what? By saying that all this shit keeps changing and it keeps getting worse. And it is getting worse. All right. And that's how we started this conversation. It's getting worse. And an example of that is just what I'm saying here. They have succeeded in actually destroying the process. And Allstate and State Farm lead the charge on that. These companies are the worst. Both these companies, Allstate and State Farm, are on a race to the bottom. Okay? They used to be on a race to the top. They're on a race to the bottom. Allstate answers only to the shareholders and the stock. All right, go check it out. Don't take my word for it. What insurance company has a stock value that's $180 a share? Are you kidding me? State Farm just announced they're going to give one of their largest dividend payouts back to their mutual policyholders. It's a mutual company. All right, I'm with USAA, so every year I get a little check for some money. Right, if the company makes a consolidated profit, I get a little piece of that. Well, State Farm apparently just announced midstream that they got so much money that they want to give some of it back. Okay, but at the end of the day, that's how the process works. And New York State, that's all New York State looks at. The adjuster is there for the insured. Okay, they're not there for the insurance company. Yes, you're working for the insurance company. But the insurance company's expectation is that you're going to represent the interests of their insured, okay, the policyholder, who they promised they were going to take care of and make whole. But instead today, what you get is, a laundry list of shit and all kinds of objections and all kinds of dribble and everything else in between about, I work for this and I do that, blah, blah, blah. No, not at all. Which, before we touch on the two subject matters here, leads me into this, our great sponsor, V&J Auto Body. Folks, I can't say enough. You heard what I just said, all right, about what's going on? All right, I just gave you a little snapshot into some of it. All right, I started that conversation off by saying things are bad and they're getting worse. Well, and that was a snapshot about how they're getting worse. All right, and that's why you need to make sure that if you get in an accident, God forbid, but it happens, right? If you get in an accident, you know where you're going. All right. I just said earlier, a lot of people, right, you don't know anything. You pay your premium all day long. Here you go. Write the check. And then all of a sudden, 10 years later, bam. Right. Nobody knows what to do. Everybody's scrambling. Don't know where to go, who to talk to, what to say, how to report it. Right? Well, now you do, because you listen to me here at Crash Course and our great sponsor, V&J Auto Body, one of the most highly certified shops on Long Island, right? Certainly in Suffolk County. Okay? These folks have the equipment, the professionally trained technician, the most trained and qualified and experienced and knowledgeable office staff, right? The 2 claim girls, I would put them up against any of the educated and claim reps out there in the industry, right? These girls are great. They even understand liability. Okay, what does that mean for you? Well, guess what? They can stand in your shoe. They can get in the middle of these liability discussions, okay? Whether or not the company wants to pay you 50%, 80%, no percent. Our girls are very educated and versed in that, and also they're very educated and versed in Reg 64. All right, so what that means for you is when you get in an accident, you call V&J Auto Body, 631-226-0070, located conveniently in Lindenhurst, right in the smack in the middle of Suffolk County there. All right, 24/7 towing. We go anywhere with our own in-house flatbeds, folks. We don't contract out. We have our own dedicated tower. All right, young guy, he's motivated, all right, high energy, ready to go any hour of the day, hour of the night. All right, we send our folks out there and we'll get your car. We'll bring it. We'll pick it up and bring it right to the shop. And if you need a rental car, how about this? We'll bring the rental car to you on our flatbed. All right, how many people out there are doing that? All right, V&J Auto Body. Folks, I can't say enough about them, and I can't say enough about the fact that you need to understand why it's so important that you have somebody that you're knowledgeable about, that you're comfortable with, and, of course, who's going to fix your car in accordance with manufacturing standards, okay? And look, there's no gimmicks, all right? There's no comical little videos or anything like that going on here. This is just about getting your car repaired the right way, all right? Not the way the insurance company wants, but the way you need it to be. All right, representing your interest from beginning to end, all right, and returning you to your car, all right, and making you whole again. All right, that's V&J Auto Body. All right, guy's been in business for 40 years. No monkey business, okay? It's all about you. You're the focus of us from beginning to end, all right? So V&J Auto Body, give those guys a call, 631-226-0070. Go check them out at VandJAutobody.com. We got a bunch of really cool videos up there. Some of them are time-lapsed on some of these real expensive vehicles that we fix over time, all right? All right, so let's get to it real quick here. So, you know, I like to read the things you don't want to read. So this is our lovely Fender Bender magazine. If I got guys out there that are in the industry, I'm sure there are a few people out there that do listen to us from time to time on body shops. All of them should be listening, but, you know, who knows? They all think they have the answers, and they all think they know better. And I don't know how many of them actually tune in. They should be tuning in, but we'll leave that up to them. So DRP, listen to this. DRP, remember I explained to you about DRP or insurance-sponsored shops? All right, direct repair, peace talks, reset rate escalators, and score. Folks, you can't make this shit up. Okay, now you've been listening to me for years, hopefully, right? You know what we're doing here, all right? Giving you information and knowledge you need and can use and advice you can trust. How many times have I said to people, all right? We're going to say it again right now. Do not send photos. I've been saying this for, I don't know, the better part of 3 years now, and it just gets worse. Folks, listen to me right now. You have zero obligation to cooperate with the insurance company on the grounds of providing material information about your damaged vehicle when it comes to now listen up, when it comes to the collision aspect of the claim. I'm not saying that you may not have to provide material information regarding how the accident happened and any other investigative aspects to the claim. But from a physical standpoint, if you get in an accident, you have no expectation or obligation to the insurance company to cooperate. You don't. You don't work for them. You're not qualified. You're not a licensed adjuster. You're not a qualified auto body mechanic. You're not an any mechanic, right? Or you might be. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you are. Maybe you do that for a living. All right, great. If you do, terrific. Then even more so, you shouldn't be cooperating. Okay? You have no idea about how to accurately document, all right, and videotape, okay, or photo damages. Folks, cars can get hit in one spot and have damage somewhere else. And that damage can show up very differently, in very different ways, okay? It can manifest itself, use a big word. the indirect damage can manifest itself very differently in another part of the car. You're not going to know that, right? I get adjusters that come in as supposed to know. They don't even know that. So you think the average person's going to know. And they're relying on that, folks. If you want to go back in time, look at some of my episodes when I spoke about this. Ignorance is not bliss in the insurance industry, okay? It's bliss for them. It's not good for you, all right? They love dumb people. They love drones. They love people that, bobbleheads. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. All right. Okay. You want me to take photo? Okay. You want me to go out and take the mileage? Oh, okay. You want me to let you know if there's a black box? Okay. All right. I mean, come on. Are you kidding me? This technology thing, it's like, it blows up everybody's brain. Folks, this thing here, that's what I mean about this shit. This here is not your friend when it comes to the insurance industry. All right? I just had a case last week, and we were talking about this exact thing with an insurance adjuster. Somebody sent photos in to the insurance company, and you can't make this shit up. And apparently the insured or the claimant, decided they wanted the photos back. I mean, I'm laughing because I've spoken about this how many times. Folks, anything you give or say to these guys, it's on the record. It becomes their property. You're not getting that back. Okay? Just like the internet, right? Facebook or Faceplant or all this other shit that's out there. You go and you put stuff all over this thing, like, woo, look at me, I'm half dressed and I'm feeling great today. And it goes out there. That's it. Goodbye. All right? Insurance companies, no different. You send photos in, you send paperwork in, you get documents, whatever the hell they ask for. Thanks a lot. And you know what the moral of that story is? Well, it can be used against you. Right? We all know the Miranda Act, right? You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used, may and will be used against you in a court of law. So I like to use that here with the insurance companies, man. When I worked as an adjuster, I would be looking at people's cars that had spontaneous combustion, these cars that went on fire on the inside. Now, I knew they were suspicious, and I wasn't necessarily there to screw the guy or the girl. But I had a job to do, right? I had a family to feed, bills to pay, so I got to do my job. Folks, you would not believe how many people would start to say to me, well, off the record. And I'd stop the guy on the phone. Whoa, wait, what do you mean? And they're like, well, yeah, off the record. No. Folks, nothing is off the record. The minute you start talking, most of these insurance companies are recording everything today. So the minute you pick up the phone, and you make the claim and you start to talk to Mrs. Claim Rep or Mr. Claim Rep or whoever, or Mr. Adjuster, it's all on the record. Ain't nothing off the record, man, when you're talking to these guys. Same thing with your photos. You send the photos in, it's their property. Something develops down the road, you become a little bit of a pain in the ass. Maybe they want to go back and look at things a little closer. Guess what? They can use that against you. So just like a good lawyer, keep your mouth shut. I mean, I can see how lawyers lose their freaking mind, right? Stop cooperating, please. And it doesn't mean you're a bad guy or a bad girl. It doesn't mean you did anything wrong. Okay? And they might use some coercive language. I've heard it. Believe me, we have to deal with it at V&J. Again, another example of why you need to come to V&J, right? You got people like me there. Well, only me. There's nobody else anymore. So you got me. All right? Mr. Crash Course himself. All right, Mr. Knowledgeable. So you're going to be in good hands. No pun intended, Allstate. You really are in good hands with V&J Auto Body. But I digress again. So stop cooperating with these folks. When they ask you, do you have a phone? No, I don't have a phone. What do you mean you don't have a phone? Everybody does. Well, I don't. Okay? Or I'm not comfortable with that. My body shop is V&J Auto Body, and I understand that they're going to handle everything for me. I trust them. I bring my car to them for a reason, and I want them to interact with you guys and handle everything. That's exactly what you tell them. Don't send them photos. Don't send them any documentation about mileage or anything like that. Forget it. They have highly trained people who get paid very well. They're very good jobs, and it's their job to come out and represent your interest when it comes to you having an accident and you cause damage and you have to get your car fixed. Bingo. That's it. All right, so let's stop doing that, man. That ain't helping you. And then on top of that, I get these Tesla people. This is another one. You can't make this shit up. I get these people, I got a video. I got the video of the guy backing into me at the deli and he took off. Okay? And then that same jackass will say to me, hey, can we include the damage over there on the edge of the door? Yeah, probably. I mean, it's close. It's in good proximity. It's reasonable to think that that might have happened in that kind of an accident. Guess what, though? You, Mr. Technocrat, with your electric Tesla and your fancy, all your shit in your car, you were so psyched to send the insurance company that video that that ain't going to get included. Okay? And here's another little tidbit to take away. Deductibles, folks. I still get people coming in. Hey, man, I got a deductible. No kidding. We all do. You know? And then, when we get done with all the pleasantries and all the administrative stuff, what comes out? Can you help me with my deductible? Can you help me with my deductible? I tell you, boy, somebody ought to. I remember Trump tried to trademark "you're fired." Somebody ought to try and trademark that. Can you help me with my deductible? I get guys that are running around in $180,000 Range Rovers, and they want me to help them with their deductible. Are you shitting me? And this is the same jackass that sent photos to the insurance company too, folks. You got to be kidding me. You're sending incriminating evidence, then coming to a body shop and expecting them to help you. Forget it. It ain't happening. It's not happening with me. I can tell you that. I can't help you. You're on your own. And you're paying your $1,000 deductible. Okay? So next time you think that you're doing the right thing and you want to be cool and get your fancy phone out there and take your fancy photos and send your documentation and all this other horse shit that you keep just filing out there to the insurance companies and good luck. And believe me when I tell you, 37 years in this business. I'm 38. Seen and heard it all, just about. I actually did see and hear something that I never did 2 weeks ago. But for the most part, we can say I've seen and done it all, heard it all. And, there have been situations where this shit has come back to bite people in the proverbial ass. And I don't know what it's going to take. All right? Just remember that no matter what they say, okay, and they do have a way with being coercive in their verbiage and their little sheets that they read, their talking point sheets and their talking memos. Just remember this, folks. At the end of the day, if you you should read your policy. Nobody gives a shit about that anymore either. They actually used to mail policies to everybody, right? Now they don't. Now they don't and still expect you to read it. It was bad enough. It was bad enough when they would actually mail that thing to us and nobody read it. Now they don't even mail it to you and they still want to tell you, well, you're expected to read your policy. What policy? I don't even get one. You don't even get it. But they're still saying that. So you can't do this, folks. Okay? Big no-no. Stop. All right? I used to joke on the radio. Nancy Reagan had a program back in the 80s called, Stop Taking Drugs or whatever she was doing. That was her big thing. She was trying to get people to get off drugs. And her little cliche there was just say no. Right? Simplest, easiest word in the world. 2 letters. No. That's it. And the nice thing about the phone is you can just hang up when they start to become belligerent. Click. Oh, I'm sorry. We must have got disconnected. All right. So let me just read you this so you can't make this shit up here. Real quick. So you heard me talk about DRPs over the years, and this article just really caught me. I thought this was something else. Collision repair. Some of the most difficult business conflicts are not about whether a relationship should exist, but about whether it can still work under the terms that were once acceptable. That is often the case with direct repair program agreements. A shop may value the steady volume and predictability, okay? A DRP All right. While an insurer values, now listen up, folks, an insurer, the insurance company values repair consistency, cost controls. All right. That means paying cheap shit and not paying for certain operations, and customer experience. But when labor, parts, materials, and operational costs rise faster than contract terms can keep pace, tension builds up. So, and then they talk about rates, right? Labor rates. So what I found really interesting with this article and striking, okay, the DRP program, right? These are jackasses that don't want to do the legwork on their own, right? And I don't care. If there's guys out there and they're listening to me right now and they're body shops, maybe that's why some of them get turned off and they're tough. I don't know what to tell you guys. Too bad. This is the truth, okay? You saddle up to an insurance company and you decide that, I don't want to spend the money, the time, the effort to actually sell my business, to represent my business to customers and future customers. I'm just going to let the insurance company push people to me, and then I'll bend over, grab my ankles, and I'll do whatever they want. Oh, and by the way, if my customer gets screwed, I don't know what to tell him. That's a DRP program. All right, and I don't want to hear anything in between bullshit about, well, it's not really true. We push back, blah blah blah, all this other shit. So this article is you can't make this up. This article is focusing on mediation. Yeah. So if you're stupid enough to get in bed with the insurance companies and then they start to put the screws to you like they always do, you don't need to get frustrated and pissed off anymore. You just get a mediator and we can all sit down, kumbaya at the table, and work shit out. Yeah. Mediation. How about this? How about you don't take your car to a DRP? How many times have I warned people about this? Folks, this is why you don't take your car to a insurance-sponsored or a DRP, direct repair program. Bad. Okay? It's right up there with cooperating with them and sending them photos and whatever the hell else they ask for. Folks, you get in an accident, you should be calling V&J right away. If you're not, or you didn't, they're going to get to you and they're going to try and get you to do this. They're going to try and get you to send photos, and then the next thing they're going to tell you, hey, we have about half a dozen shops right in your local area that do the work, that can fix your car. What they don't tell you is they're going to fix the car the way the insurance companies want, not the way you want. And there's a big difference. And if you go over there, you're going to find out a lot of times the hard way. All right. And this is another example, folks, about why you don't want to get involved there. So instead of a body shop like V&J Auto Body, where we are a fiercely independent shop, we do not have any relationship with any insurance company. You know what relationships we have with our customers? We have customer relationships. Okay, we embrace our customers, represent their interests, fix their car the way they want it fixed, the way the OEM or the manufacturer says it should be fixed. And we don't give a shit about the insurance. The only thing I care about the insurance company is they come in, they negotiate, they get an agreed price with me so that I can put your car back on the road. Other than that, I don't really give a shit about them. I don't have to. Okay? I just care about you. Them, on the other hand, the DRPs, well, it's almost like the dog that's being fed all the time by the owner, right? Is he going to bite that guy's hand? Probably not. If he does, they're going to shoot him. All right? So that's why you don't want to get involved with that. Mediation. Are you shitting me? When I read this article, I was like laughing my ass off. So this person's actually saying, you should spend money on a mediator, and we can all sit down and sing Kumbaya and drink mimosas, and we're all going to get along and everything else. Bullshit. Okay? It ain't going to happen. It's expensive. It's useless. At the end of the day, it doesn't result in a better outcome for consumers, for customers. The other thing that was interesting here, okay, before we sign off here, they had something in here where they were tracking. This is another pathetic. They tracked the usage of DRP, so they were able to, I guess, reflect on year over year. So they looked at 25 to 26, and they said the percentage of total sales that are the result of DRPs. So in 25, last year, folks, there's only 1 year, 32% of total sales, right? Means, in body shop speak, we use sales to represent how many cars come through the shop and yada, yada. 32% reported zero revenue generated through DRPs. 1 year later, you can't make this shit up. 1 year later, in 26, it dropped to 12%. Now, I was never any good in math, okay? I'm certainly not a math wizard, and I barely got out of probability and statistic class, but this don't look too good. This looks to me like a big swing to the DRP side. And you know what's driving that, folks? A lot of things, all right? A lot of things on the micro level, but on the macro level, what's driving that is laziness, all right? Unwillingness to invest, unwillingness to do the hard work, to do the legwork that it takes to grow a business, all right, to represent, to market your business, all right, and to advertise who you are, what you can offer, and what you can do for the consumer. That's what that is. That at the end of the day, that's what all this shit is, okay? And then they go through and they look at percentages, right? In 25, 1 to 29% had 19%. In 26, 29% recorded 1 to 29% of their revenue. 30% of their revenue. 30% of shops said 30% of their revenue was generated by DRPs. Are you shitting me? Folks, if you're bringing your car to that kind of a business, I can assure you that if the shit hits the fan, okay, the proverbial cliche that everybody likes to use, all right, where are their loyalties going to land? All right, I'll leave you with that little tidbit. All right, if the crap hits the fan, whose side are they going to stand on? Are they going to stand with you, or are they going to stand with Allstate or State Farm or Progressive? I don't know, pick one. There's an old saying out there, right? Hire a clown and expect a circus. Well, guess what? If you go with a DRP, you just hired a clown and you're going to get a circus. All right? And that's the cliche of the day. We're going to leave it there. All right, everybody. I hope you got something out of that. All right. Continue to follow us. Please go to the YouTube channel. All right. Spread the word. I get feedback from people all the time that come in the shop saying, they listen to me. They enjoy the show. They get a lot out of it. They always feel like they pick something up. All right. So keep spreading the word. Let everybody know who we are, what we do. All right. We're here for you, the folks. All right. We're looking out for everybody. See you next time.